Welcome back to my channel. My name is Worldology, and I'm going to talk to you all about three things that I'm gonna advocate for Battlefield and see what you guys think about it. Right. So first off, the game's coming out very soon. Right. It's either going to come out this year or maybe even earlier next year. And my whole idea for this thing is I have three things for this game that generally needs to be, you know, focused on, seriously for the whole community of Battlefield. For people to come and stay on the game, right? And I'm going to talk about why I said that, right? So, the first thing is how bad would the mechanics be if the game is fully developed on this new engine? So, I did a little digging, of course, obviously. And of course, we have been on 2042 on its new engine. 2042 been on this new engine for its first time. And everybody knew that it took us 8 to 11 months to get a fully, or even more months to get fully situated for 2042 to become, the good game that, the past Battlefields was. And I know I said that, and then we all look back at BF4's launch, or, you know, what other launches was. I think BF1 was good, but they just tweaked the whole movement very bad and messed the whole game up to be entirely situational, right? But BF4 came out in its, worse form and then developed better over time. BF3, I think, was the first, you know, game to be on its own Frostbite engine. The engine I'm talking about obviously is what made Battlefield to the great game it is today. Destruction, all of that, right? BF3 was one of the first to be developed on this new thing. Then BF4 was also developed to be in, not very well, but it was also developed to be in that new category of Frostbite. And then it came out bad, and then now over time it got way better. Now for 2042, it's on its new engine, Frostbite 3, a new engine of Frostbite 3, maybe even another engine as of today, whatever, because who knows, things change all the time, right? So the new Frostbite engine for 2042, we see how the launch was. The launch cannot be bad for the next Battlefield. But we all seen how the launch was. Nobody was getting shot, perfectly when we was actually shooting at the person. And I advocate for all the people, Enders and everybody else, because I give them credit for being the people in the community to point out on it first and to put a general sense to the whole community, even though most of the community on Reddit or whatnot likes to get stuff changed and not really developed into its entire form that Battlefield could be, right? So the new engine of 2042 was bad because it was new and they did not have enough time, which means they rushed the whole process. And the rushing process is what made everything so buggy, and possibly more people knew about it, but it wasn't really heard out there in, the general sense of things. We just played the game, pre-ordered it, and said the game was trash. Like even BF5 was, decent on release, right? But then they messed it up with the mechanics of the gunplay, mostly because the movement was wishy-washy. It was in its, general form of being switched by people who says it needs to be switched because why? They don't want to learn the mechanics, right? So yeah, the new the new engine. The reason the reason why, for looking at it, from that perspective, we're on a new engine that they are just beginning to learn, and they're still doing it to the perfection that it could be, right? We see in the background how good a BF game can be. Yes, I'm a 2042. The movement can be way better than what this is. We already feel it. It's just we're listening to people who do not play the game. Like maybe I'm talking about playing the game to learn it, not just playing the game to, fool around and play casually. Because those people can do that. There's obviously going to be people in the game doing that and doing their own thing. But eventually, I feel like the casual player is going to do something way better for their casuality. They're going to want to express themselves in the game that they want, especially if the game is good. So, the new engine, of course, I keep talking about it. The new engine, it needs to be developed by people who play the game more seriously or even more competitively, and we just need to get that out there because even if many competitive players combat against this and that, it still isn't really that much of a big combating, since we all loved BF4 and BF3, and BF1 is in the mix. I don't really know the people who like that game because it's very situational. So in my eyes, it pertains to Battlefield in an atmospheric way, but not to the gameplay way. Because obviously the game was never a Milsim game to begin with. It was always a style of its own. And I'm not gonna say it copied Call of Duty because yeah, I had it in my mind. Yeah, I did have it in my mind to say that. But look, this game has way more mechanics that you need to learn for this game. Way more map variety that you need to learn, and et cetera, et cetera. And that's why we need to advocate to make the mechanics and the gameplay better in this game instead of focusing on, you know, visuals, saying this game looks like 2042, this and that. Trailer is going to come out this June, this month right now. It's probably going to come out Sunday, Saturday. Who knows? We did not get a date, so we just have to advocate for, you know, we just need to hype it up, right? We just need to hype it up. The game's going to be very great in, the trailer form. And we are still nervous about being in this same cycle of 7 years, right? Of not getting anything in this perfection that we know the game should be, the whole franchise should be, right? So my next thing is that the general idea is that most players are not entirely great at the game to learn it. So if the game is in the new engine, if the game in this new engine is fully developed, then how bad or good would a game be? So let's say if they implemented almost everything from BF4 and put it into the new Battlefield, and I'm gonna include BF3 as well because they both intertwine. What if we put those things in a new Battlefield, and the sliding? Obviously, the sliding is going to be in the next game. We already know that. Sliding from BF5, uh, BF1 to atmospheric, and I can't really name any gameplay styles for those two games anyway, because they did it. I'm talking entirely about gameplay and mechanics to make the game feel like how the games that we said that we love felt, BF4 and BF3. So if we implemented all those mechanics into this new generation of gaming and they do it to their absolute best and fix some of the tweaks that the past games had, how many players would complain about that gameplay in this current generation? For me, I probably would not complain. I'm like, oh, so hey, we like the past BF, the past games, BF4 and BF3, and we're getting a gameplay very, very similar to BF4. And if they add Zuzu and Moomon, yeah, we're gonna be pretty upset. So yeah, enough jokes. If they have the jump peak, the jump sliding, they're moving around on your screen to make it more responsive. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just look at, the players who play the game. Look up their channels. There's a lot of people who play. BF4, and we already know because it's been 12 years of us, wanting a new game, a remastered of BF4 or BF3. We wanted those things. I do too, because I'm in that we category, right? So back to the main topic. For the new engine, it we are still on a new engine. It haven't been made to its most vital point, to its most goodness of a point, right? It's general point that it's supposed to be in for a Battlefield game. What will it be? What will a game be? What will people say about the game? What will people say about the game? Will people say, "Oh, we need to remove, this and that"? It feels way too arcadey. It feels like Call of Duty when you have to use spread and a moving optic to try to combat and control your weapon, right? Some people might not like it. Who knows? But still, like the game feels too arcadey. The game's this. The games feel way too fast. And then in my previous video, we all seen the list on how fast the movement is from Tarkov to Call of Duty in those in that little three range, and we're in the middle. And I did advocate for it to be way faster than how it should be, right? Because obviously, I feel like the game is very slow. And obviously if we make the game way more faster, people aren't going to catch up, especially if BF4 Mechanics is put in a new game, not just the Zuzu and Moon, but stuff that BF4 had for the gameplay. If the game was faster, yeah, it would have probably been more of a difficult time to catch up. Because I feel like in this current generation, yeah, I'm kind of batting my own generation, right? But people do not want to learn anything, even though it's very easy to learn it. You know, in some points, right? Some points have to take more time. Some points is very easy to learn. Some points, it's it takes hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, 10, 50, all the way to the preference hours of how you want to play, right? So I would like to ask y'all, how would the mechanics be for the game if it? How would the mechanics be for the new engine if it was developed in its entirety to make the game how it should be? Because right now we're getting a toy version of these mechanics. I feel like, and especially when the tick rate is very low, even though it probably might mean nothing, but I think it will mean something because we need something to make our keybinds, you know, our game work when we press our keybinds. That's my general sense. Optimization goes hand to hand with those two. It goes hand to hand. So my last thing, we know the whole park of FPS needs a new FPS game. It needs a new FPS. 7 years since Battlefield was in its natural form, of being a good game. BF1, good game. BF5, decent game. Just messed up the mechanics. Call of Duty, we're getting a BO2, remastered. I know everybody happy for Menendez and, Mason and all them, right? But the game for that franchise released in only 1 year. BO6 did not, have any time to breathe and develop its own player base. Other games waited, you know, for however long they did. So now, for these 7 years, and us now in the 2025 in the modern era, wants a new FPS, right? I want to ask y'all, and I might give my thoughts on it too when I say it. How high would a player count be and stagnate after 3 to 6 months of, its release, of the next Battlefield's release. So my thing is, the player count is going to be very big. It's going to be it's going to be very big. The reason why is because we need a game to be in its natural form of a good arcade-like FPS game. We do not have that nowadays. We don't. Even if we try to play a game, I know me, I'll get aggravated because, I just don't like the game Lion, you know. So we see the leaks. Game's gonna come out this June. Not the game. The trailer and the reveal of the next Battlefield is gonna come out this June, this month, by the time I'm recording this. The trailer will come out. We will get it popping. It will have probably 5 million, 10 million views. Who knows? So if the game comes out, oh yeah, we waited. The game comes out. Like, oh yeah, take my money, pre-order. We're not pre-ordering, but we still pre-order. Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. And then we all buy the game. And then we already see the leaks, right? And then the game is very good. Very good. Sometimes things disappoint us, but let's make it optimistic and say the game will be good. We see the leaks. We see EA and Dyson, everybody in, the developers, the ex-developers, and all of them giving their thoughts and their experience on us people who are the community who are advocating for this whole franchise to be in its, you know, original form. We get this release and it comes out. How will it stagnate in 3 to 6 months? Not how will it stagnate. How will it be in 3 to 6 months? And will it continue to stagnate at a good, I'm gonna say 10,000 to 50,000. But I'm advocating for 30,000, 50,000, because we need that. We need that player base, man. And I think 50,000 can obviously be on FPS. If Delta Force can get 50,000 on its first day or 100, don't even tell me that this next Battlefield cannot get to 50,000. Don't tell me. Because then what are we arguing for? We're arguing against a game that hasn't even been developed and still has 50,000. It has only 2 maps and it still has 50,000. Don't even start that with me. Don't start it. Do not. Don't. Please don't. Everybody is in America. Everybody, even the toddlers, is waiting for BF6 to come out. So when this new game comes out, I feel like this whole game will be very good in 100K on this first day. That's what I think. And I think it's going to stagnate at 30 to 50,000 if we keep, you know, the game going and telling DICE and getting it to their head that the mechanics matter for the game, not just the visuals, because we already see it has the visuals in the game. We already see the nameless soldiers. We already see the good maps in the game. We already see the vehicles. We already see everything that looks like it's supposed to be Battlefield. We already see it. People leave mostly because either the mechanics, the tick rate don't work, meaning that you need to let the gun hit your shots, and also the feel of the game, the general feel, and of course the maps, because the maps is not good in 2042. Let me just say that it's just not good. They're not good. I can get combated all day about 2042 and its maps. I generally do not think that 2042's maps are very well. They can burn. But look, they said they are remastering and bringing back old maps. from BF3, Operation Firestorm. I might be wrong about that. Operation Firestorm. So I do believe that, you know, remastered maps are going to come back. And that's why I made a map video. As you can see, you know, if you check it out, you can check it out if you want to. Those map videos, I meant those maps in my video that I wanted came from, you know, different BFs. Those maps, right, made the game feel way better than what it, you know, should have been. Redacted. I remember I called this discarded in that video too on accident. B1 where I'm at right now in this whole game. I'm gonna say it again. B1 is the base, which makes it even. That's why the general score on this gameplay is 358 to 390 because we need to push this whole area to see if a team or a squad can get, you know, can strategize their way into the point B. If they take point B, that means the whole thing is over, and the other team needs to get right on the ball and try to either capture, you know, the last point or whatever. That's just like the whole thing of having one base form to make a controlment of the whole game, and it doesn't necessarily have to be an entire control of the map in the game because then it would not be fair if one person just have a whole base. And C1 on the map that you just seen, it's also their base form. And that is another idea for me. If we're playing Conquest or Breakthrough, right? But mainly I'm gonna go for Conquest or, you know, infantry conquest or something operations, right? If there are two bases for one team and the other team, they need to be hard to capture, meaning that more people will be on that point, and we will just need to battle for that whole point while there's other points. That's just my thinking of one map, and it could happen to multiple maps, but that's just my point placement for the maps. A, B, C, D. That's just my place for the maps, and obviously they're going to be bigger maps, better maps for, you know, the points to be placed, right? But in my sense of looking at the leagues, I really do love the two little maps that we've gotten shown for, you know, the next battlefield. I honestly do like them. Hey, you might not like them, but I do. And there's probably going to be some other people who do as well because it's not really a different map, but it's pertaining to its old roots. So I know I went off the rails, and we're still on the thing about stagnating in 3 to 6 months. Do y'all guys think the game will, you know, be successful if, you know, we keep it how it is from the leaks and just develop on those mechanics to make those things better? Or will we be dead and not be able to grow because we are listening to the people who do not want the game to grow by learning the game and being like, oh, so that's why you do this or that or this and that or that and this. I do love those moments. And I'm still learning as well. I'm just helping the community out, even if it might be little, small, big, whatever. 7 years and no FPS, and BF was one of the actually the best FPS. Oh yeah, you can say COD was a point, but it wasn't really a point of being the best. It was just, you know, good story and good influentialness for the game. But it's not just a whole war between COD and BF. It's just for the people who always want to bring up that war. That's my thing. This whole war between Call of Duty and BF, it don't really need to stop if y'all do not want it to stop because we already see what the outcome is going to be if Battlefield gets in its own right. We have a BO2 remaster that's about to come out, and many people did not know the BF2 remaster. Many people we was like, oh, what the heck is this? Who's Menendez? Who was that? Who, who is Mason? Who the numbers? So we really didn't know, or the new gen didn't know, or whatever gen. So yeah, I think the whole thing is that I'm keep saying this. We really do need to argue for something that makes the whole gameplay and the feel of the game way better. Gameplay, optimization. Those are two things that needs to be fixed very, very much, and change like very much. We get bugs and stuff and everything. A new update is coming out this Friday for 2042, and it's going to make the new weapons better. And y'all guys can search up whatever and find that. But the new update is coming for the weapons to make the weapons better. Hopefully that can be something that pertains to the new game. To see if they are making the weapons, to see if not making to see if the weapons and its damages and what they can do to the damage to add, or to the attachments, because we know a lot of good attachments are in Battlefield, and they're probably going to be even more. Why? Because there's a we're in this modern era now, and there's a lot of things for Battlefield that we haven't had fun with yet. So we just need to have a lot of testing for the game, so we can make the whole game feel better and have fun with the new toys that we're going to get for this next Battlefield. So yeah, um, please, EA Dice might not hear it, but just listen to people who are above me, and with me, and wanting the game back to its old roots, mechanic wise, you know, gameplay wise, visual wise, the feel wise, the whole theme wise, soundtrack wise, everything. Because y'all have every ball in the court to make FPS, not dry again. You have every ball from every sport: rugby, golf, hockey, football, basketball, volleyball. Y'all have every single ball in every single sport. So please do something with it. Do not mess it up. Do not mess it up, please. BF5 got nerfed, and we seen how that game was. It was the gunplay. And for that, this is going to be my last few minutes of this. My final thing for Battlefield 2 fix. We know that the mouse input, right? And I'll tell you that the mouse input is up there. Not how you've seen on the back screen of me, like trying to find my sense and shaking my aim around and stuff, right? And not being able to actually play the game like how I should play, right? Just gotta get good, huh? You just gotta get good, Worldology. You suck, boy. You suck. But still, still, like, even though make the optimization and the mouse input good for the game, right? Because that can also throw people off the game as well. They feeling like the game's not working, for casuals anyway. For casuals, people who just get on for fun, and love to toy around with their friends, family members, play the game and just have fun, right? Make moments, clips, whatever for the game that they feel like they want out of this, whole game, right? just know that your main community battlefield is people who evolved through this whole game entirely. So obviously, we're going to want something that makes Battlefield feel like how Battlefield should play. Because I think Battlefield, I think man, even though it might seem like it's more casual because of all the chit chat and stuff, I think it's a little bit more of a competitive nature for Battlefield and for every FPS that's in this century of gaming in 2025, going into 2026. So, Battlefield EA Dice are doing very well, very well. Just keep on it and stop worrying about people who do not want the game to succeed. Because I know damn well y'all know if y'all change something when we're all advocating for something to stay in the game, you are going to mess up the game and the people who play the game. That's just the general thing for the whole community of FPS gaming today. It's just the whole thing. So, yeah, while I'm still young, I still want to be a community succeeder for Battlefield, Let the community succeed. Let it succeed, man. Let it succeed. Let all of gaming succeed. FPS, it's gonna get there. We just all need to be optimistic about it. I know I'm just talking and going nowhere and just speaking, but I'm just trying to speak the peace, man. Cause it do feel a little bit unreal for people who, was playing this game for hours. People who there are some people who are madder than me, and I'm madder than some other people and whatnot. But it's been a long time since Battlefield been into its state, and I'm genuinely heavy hearted on getting this whole thing situated for the whole community, the people who want the game to get better. Because even if people leave, there's still going to be new people who play the game and keep the game going. That's just the entirety of it. But nobody in, today's age is going to keep no game going. That does not make the game feel like the game has been in its fields. It's not going to hit nobody today in its modern fields if we have something like this. I wasn't paying attention to the gameplay, but well, I actually seen it now. I'm actually seeing it. So we have a bunch of grenades getting thrown at me, and right now I'm getting hit with 25 Sundisk grenades. Mm, and it's just, what is that? Infinite healing, yeah, that's something that's, like, oh, you got infinite healing, what are you complaining for? But in these type of situations, I don't really need instant heals in this general situation. I have a few teammates smoke and I can push in. But with a Sundance grenade, you're getting hit straight on with an impact style of a grenade and then blown up by four different types of mini grenades, right? So yeah, that's just the thing. We're going back to his old form, to his old roots. We see all these gadgets and all the things that was pertaining to BF4. We see everything's going back to its natural state. We see the visuals. We see the unnamed soldiers. We see the soldiers are getting made up to date and they're looking more militarized. We see everything is going on thanks to the leaks from these people. Appreciate you. So we see everything of what's going on. And my thing is, just please have Battlefield work. And that's just my whole thing for this video. Game ended, so now I'm going to end. Thank you, everybody, for watching this maybe, you know, well, no, not final. just watching this whole video on these ideas for Battlefield of longevity for this next game, right? And for the whole franchise as well, because we obviously need it. Because nobody isn't going to play BF1 and BF5 every single day. You can count me in if it happens. You can say it to me if it happens, and I'll see. I'll probably not play and see, but I'll see from afar and see if it happens. Because we all know, yeah, just tactical conquest, BF5. Yeah, so I hope you guys like, share, and subscribe. And that's just all my thoughts for this video. And comment or give any suggestions about how you feel about Battlefield and this whole general sense of the modern era of gaming. And what do you think should be changed for this whole game? So yeah, that's my thing. And I'm out.